Wednesday night, once again hanging out with my best friend Mike and I on the Not So Late Show. Super Dave and the rest, look at us, we're so well dressed. We love you, we're the Not So Late Show. Wednesday night, once again hanging out with my best friend Mike and I on the Not So Late Show. Super Dave and the rest, look at us, we're so well dressed. We love you, we're the Not So Late Show.
Poe and Valentine's Day, a commercial sketch. Open on a montage of Jimmy Fallon pictures, Jimmy laughing, Jimmy playing guitar, Jimmy in a ridiculous costume, Jimmy with puppies, Jimmy doing a silly face, upbeat, jazzy music plays. Voiceover, warm, enthusiastic. Tired of the same old February holiday, roses wilting, chocolates gone stale? This year, ditch the predictable and embrace the hilarious. Get ready for Valentine's Day. Music stops. A single spotlight shines on a person dressed in a sparkly, oversized suit, holding a giant cardboard cutout of Jimmy Fallon's face. Person in suit. That's right, folks. Valentine's Day, a day dedicated to all things Jimmy. Laughter, joy, and the irresistible charm of the one and only Mr. Fallon. Quick cuts of various people doing silly things. Someone wearing a giant tie, another person doing a desk dance, a group of people singing a song that sounds vaguely like the Tonight Show theme. Voiceover. On Valentine's Day, we celebrate the joy of late-night television, the magic of musical impressions, and the sheer delight of a good, goofy giggle. Cut to a close-up of a heart-shaped box filled not with chocolates but with miniature microphones. Person in suit. Forget those heart-shaped candies. This Valentine's Day, give the gift of miniature microphones. Perfect for practicing your best Jimmy Fallon impressions. Cut to a person struggling to balance a stack of pancakes on their head. Voiceover. And don't forget the traditional Valentine's Day feast. Pancakes on your head. Because why not? Cut back to the person in the sparkly suit, now holding a rubber chicken. Person in suit. But the most important part of Valentine's Day, the ritual of the rubber chicken. The person holds up the rubber chicken. Person in suit. Every Valentine's Day, you must find a rubber chicken, hold it high, and honk it with all your might. This symbolizes the release of all your pent-up silliness and the embrace of pure, unadulterated fun. The person honks the rubber chicken loudly, cut to a montage of people honking rubber chickens in various locations, in their homes, in their offices, in the park. The upbeat music returns. Voiceover. Celebrate when you Fallon love, celebrate the laughter, celebrate Valentine's Day. Cut to a shot of the cardboard Jimmy Fallon face with the words Valentine's Day written in sparkly letters. A small disclaimer appears at the bottom of the screen. Disclaimer. Valentine's Day is not a real holiday. Please do not actually put pancakes on your head, but the rubber chicken thing, totally encouraged. Final shot. The person in the sparkly suit winks at the camera.
Welcome back to the Not So Late Show, everyone. Mike's off somewhere, finding himself. which I think involves a questionable amount of hair gel and those tiny shorts he loves, so it's just me tonight. But hey, who needs Mike when I've got this dazzling smile and a can of Galaxy gas? Speaking of things that are questionable, have you heard about the new podcast that's taking the internet by storm? No. It's not another true crime podcast about some lady who poisoned her husband with pickle juice. Although that does sound kind of interesting, I'm talking about the Not So Late Show After Show. That's right, folks. We're getting meta. It's a podcast about the podcast where we dissect, analyze, and overthink everything that happens on this show. Okay, maybe overthink is a strong word. We'll mostly be making fun of ourselves and our questionable sponsors. But hey, who doesn't love a little self-deprecating humor? Plus, you might even learn some behind-the-scenes secrets, like how many cans of Galaxy gas it takes to keep Mike coherent for a whole episode. So, be sure to check out the Not So Late Show After Show, premiering soon on all your favorite podcast platforms. It's the perfect way to relive the magic, or maybe just the madness, of this show. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming, whatever that may be.
All right, so you guys have sent in a ton of material about the Not So Late Show and this comedic duo.
Yeah.
And wow, there's a lot to unpack here.
It is fascinating stuff.
Yeah, we're talking notes for what could be their final season.
Mm-hmm.
We have script ideas and even their Super Bowl plans.
Right. And it's not your typical late night comedy either.
Yeah, what's interesting here is...
You're kind of mixing it all up, sketch comedy,
Yeah.
social commentary, a little bit of conspiracy theories.
It's a little bit of everything.
It's like they're just seeing what sticks.
Yeah. It is.
But somehow it really works.
Okay, so where do we even begin?
Well, their humor is definitely on the absurd side.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's this one skit about Lovie Smith.
Okay.
Remember him? The NFL coach?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like he has this fictional clothing line called Lovie's Jeans.
Okay.
And all the different styles are based on football plays. Like, who comes up with this stuff?
Okay, wait, that is ridiculous.
Oh, right.
But also kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like they're taking something, like football and turning it on its head.
Totally unexpected.
And speaking of unexpected, there's this whole bit where one of the hosts gets super paranoid after a call-in guest threatens him.
Oh.
I think they mentioned Lovie Smith again, maybe?
It's that blurring of reality and absurdity.
Yeah, and that was what makes them so interesting.
Right. You can never tell what's real and what's a joke.
Exactly. You are always kept on your toes.
Absolutely.
And they're not shying away from controversial topics either.
No, they're not.
There's one part where one of the hosts gets stabbed by this character
Okay.
named Jeffy Dahmer.
Jeffy Dahmer.
And then he ends up in like a spirit world or something.
Okay.
And he's still trying to sell those Lovie's jeans, but like to ghosts.
To ghosts.
I mean, come on, that's dark humor.
It is dark, but it's definitely a bold move.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how the audience reacts.
Yeah, and it shows how willing they are to push those boundaries and
Absolutely.
explore tough topics.
They use humor to make it work.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some of their recurring segments.
All right.
They've got this thing called Conspiracy Corner, where they talk about all these wild theories like the Great Squirrel Uprising,
That's a classic.
where all these squirrels are wearing Patagonia vests and taking over Wall Street.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious.
It's so funny. And then there's the Slippery Earth theory,
Oh, yeah.
which is basically making fun of all conspiracy theories.
Yeah, you say the world is covered in slime and sludge.
Yeah, and the only way to survive is with some dry shoes and a towel.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Okay, so it's like they're taking these real anxieties we all have
Right.
and blowing them up to be totally absurd.
It's so over the top.
But it makes it hilarious and strangely relatable.
Oh, I completely agree.
All right, let's move on to their plans for the Super Bowl special.
Okay, this should be good.
They're talking about all kinds of green screen stuff
Oh, wow.
with historical footage, karaoke versions of popular songs, and
Oh.
maybe even a cameo from George Bush.
Oh, my God.
It sounds chaotic,
It does.
but that's what they do.
Right. Controlled chaos.
They somehow weave all these random elements into this hilarious experience.
Exactly.
It's like they're throwing a party and you have to be there.
You're invited to the madness.
Now let's peek into their personal lives a little bit
Right.
with their New Year's resolutions. And these are not your typical resolutions.
No, they are not.
Oh, no.
Forget about losing weight or eating healthy.
Yeah, right.
We're talking big goals like hosting the best Super Bowl special ever.
Yeah.
And then some really absurd ones like trying fisting or dunking on LeBron James.
Okay, what?
They even want to create a new language called Fleeporp to talk to animals.
No way.
Like they're making fun of those big utopian ideas.
Yeah.
But it also makes you wonder if talking to dolphins is really that crazy.
Me not.
Right. It's that mix of humor, social commentary, and pure absurdity.
It's what makes them so unique.
Definitely.
They're always challenging us and making us question everything.
Absolutely. And speaking of challenging us, they have this segment planned
Yeah.
called Possible Democratic Nominees to Definitely Win 2028.
And get this, one of the nominees is an empty tin can.
An empty tin can.
An empty tin can.
Wow.
It's not just a random joke.
Right.
It's satire at its finest.
They're saying there's a lack of good choices out there.
Yeah, and they do it without getting too serious.
Exactly.
They have this light touch.
Yeah.
Then we have their fantasy football fever segment.
Oh, yeah. A little glimpse into their love of sports.
Right, they get so competitive.
They make these bold predictions, trash talk each other.
That's hilarious.
They bring so much intensity to something that's supposed to be just for fun.
In one segment, one of the hosts, Jake,
Yeah.
he does this whole noir-style monologue
Oh, wow.
describing the week's fantasy matchups like it's a detective story.
Really?
It's brilliant.
They can make any topic funny.
Yeah, no matter how boring.
They elevate everything.
And they're not afraid to experiment,
No, they're not.
which keeps things interesting.
Yeah, like Chef Nick's psychedelic Thanksgiving special.
Oh, yeah, the infamous trip to Flavortown.
They accidentally eat something
Oh.
and go on this crazy culinary adventure.
Where do they end up?
Taco Bell.
Of course.
The ultimate Thanksgiving meal.
They just throw tradition out the window.
Yeah. Embrace the unexpected.
It's what makes them so refreshing.
They don't play by the rules.
And it's not just the big ideas.
Yay.
They pay attention to the little things, too.
What do you mean?
Like sound effects, you know?
Oh,
The Home Improvement sounds the Jeopardy theme song.
yeah, it adds another layer to their absurdity.
It's those little touches that make them so unique.
They're thinking about every detail.
And they're branching out, too. They're planning a Haunted Culture Corner segment.
Ooh, spooky.
I know, right? And they're going to have a big 5th anniversary episode
Oh, wow.
with a new intro song and sponsors like Galaxy Gas and Subway Surfers.
It's so creative.
They're not just comedians.
Right.
They're entrepreneurs, marketers, showmen, all rolled into one,
They're constantly evolving,
finding new ways to entertain.
pushing the boundaries.
Okay, let's talk about some specific skits now.
All right.
One tackles the idea of people not wanting to work
Okay.
and blames it on this big numerology conspiracy.
Wow, that's a unique take.
It's brilliant satire.
They're turning a complex issue on its head.
Yeah, they make it funny and thought-provoking.
And then they have another skit
Yeah.
where they connect numerology to, like, big news stories.
Oh, like the lottery winner's birthday and the Illuminati.
Exactly. Or that video of the cat on a Roomba.
Yeah. Proof of immortality.
It's commentary on how we try to find meaning in everything,
Even when it's absurd.
especially when it's absurd.
And then there's the skit about the guy making pants.
Pants.
Yeah, for swimming forever.
Forever.
And a cow laying eggs.
Okay, wait, what?
That hatch human babies.
That's a lot to unpack.
It's like a fever dream of weird headlines.
They find humor in the strangest places.
But they also have ideas for more grounded material.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One script has like a casual opening monologue
Okay.
about the Weather News personal stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lead into a discussion about robots taking over jobs.
Oh, wow.
It shows their versatility.
Yeah, they can do silly and profound.
Sometimes all at
That's
once.
impressive.
They embrace the full spectrum of human experience.
And they do it with a smile.
All right, so they're thinking about everything.
Oh, yeah. They have notes about pre-show music, potential sponsors,
Mm-hmm.
even a bit about a convenience store attached to the DMV. Wait, what?
I know, right?
They are building a world,
It's all about the details.
and they don't take themselves too seriously.
No, they don't.
Like, one of the hosts jokes about trying to do the worm,
Right.
but he's not as flexible as he used to be.
It's that self-awareness that makes them so relatable.
You're just being themselves.
Okay, last example.
All right, hit me.
They have this bit about artificial intelligence where they wonder if robots would demand payment for their chips.
For their chips.
Yeah, if they had to use a vending machine.
Oh, wow.
It's a simple question, but it makes you think.
About AI in a whole new way.
Yeah, they make you laugh and think at the same time.
They're multitaskers.
So far, it's clear that this duo is a fascinating blend of everything.
They do it all.
Sketch comedy, social commentary, conspiracy theories, you name it.
All with a dose of absurdity and self-deprecation.
It's a wild ride for sure.
It really is.
But before we go any further,
Yeah.
I think we need to take a closer look at how they manage this balancing act.
What do you mean?
How do they make these potentially controversial topics funny
Right.
without
Right.
alienating their audience?
That's the question.
That's what we'll explore in part 2 of this deep dive.
I can't wait.
So we've talked about how this comedic duo is walking a fine line. You know,
Yeah.
they blend humor with social commentary,
Mm-hmm.
and they even touch on those conspiracy theories.
Right.
The question is, how do they do it
It's a good question.
without pushing their audience away?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
But I think there are a few key things they do.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, they're incredibly self-aware.
Okay.
They never take themselves too seriously.
Right. They kind of wink at the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, we know this is ridiculous,
Right.
but it's funny. Right.
They're not preaching.
Yeah.
They're just presenting their perspective and letting the audience decide.
Okay.
And because they make fun of themselves, their commentary feels less,
Less aggressive.
more like playful observations.
Okay. That makes sense. What else?
Well, they also root their humor in relatable experiences.
Okay.
They might be talking about squirrels ruling the world
Right.
or talking to dolphins,
Yeah.
but they always bring it back to those universal truths.
Yeah, those things we all experience.
Exactly.
Like dealing with the DMV
Don't remind me.
or trying to do the worm when you're not flexible anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It reminds us that even with all the absurdity,
Yeah.
we're all just human.
Trying to figure it all out.
Exactly. And that creates a connection.
Mm-hmm. Even when they push the boundaries.
So we've got self-awareness and relatability.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
I think the final ingredient is vulnerability.
Okay.
They're not afraid to share their own flaws.
Right. Their anxieties, insecurity.
Exactly. It makes them more human.
Yeah. More approachable.
Less like they're judging everyone.
Yeah. Like they're saying, hey, we're all messed up together.
Right. Let's laugh about it.
Okay. That vulnerability builds trust.
Hmm.
It lets them talk about tough stuff.
Without being mean-spirited.
Okay. So self-awareness, relatability, vulnerability.
That's the secret sauce.
Those are some powerful tools for comedy.
Especially when you're dealing with social commentary.
Okay. Let's look at some examples
Sure.
to see how these principles work in practice.
All right, let's start with the possible Democratic nominees segment.
Okay.
Remember the one with the empty tin can? On the surface, it's just a silly joke,
Right.
but there's a deeper meaning there.
It's a critique of politics,
Yeah, they're saying they're not impressed with the choices.
but they do it in a funny way.
Right, it makes you think.
And because they don't pick sides,
Yeah, they're not Democrats or Republicans.
it feels more like an observation.
Not an attack.
They're making fun of the system.
Yeah, not any one person.
And that's where the self-awareness comes in.
They're not pretending to be expert.
They're just two guys sharing their comedic take.
And they include themselves in the joke.
Yeah.
They're part of the system, too.
They're not above it all.
Right, they're just questioning things.
Okay, let's look at another example.
Okay.
The rock and roll moments segment.
Interesting one.
They're not celebrating the music?
No, they're calling out musicians,
Yeah, for their past bad behavior.
especially with underage girls.
It's a tough topic,
Definitely.
but they use humor to address it.
And again, self-awareness is key.
They're not saying it's okay,
Right, they're just acknowledging it happened.
making us confront the truth.
And by using comedy,
Yeah.
they create a space to talk about it.
Without feeling lectured.
Exactly, it's about starting a conversation.
Not preaching.
They're provocative.
Yeah.
They make us think about who we idolize.
And the systems that allow this to happen.
Okay, one last example.
Right.
The pre-Halloween episcript.
Oh, yeah. This one starts with a bang.
What do you mean?
One host says his co-host is absent
Okay.
because he has something that rhymes with D-U-I-Y-E.
Oh, wow. They went there.
I think we all know what that means.
Yeah.
It's so unexpected.
They break the fourth wall.
Yeah, it feels like they're telling us a secret.
And then it gets even darker.
Yeah, the host gets stabbed by Jeffy Dahmer
Oh, right. Jeffy Dahmer.
and ends up in the spirit world
And he sees Lovey Smith again.
trying to sell jeans to ghosts.
It's so bizarre.
But hilarious.
It highlights the absurdity of life and death.
But also reminds us that even in darkness,
Yeah.
there's still room for humor.
And by bringing back Lovey's genes,
Yeah.
it creates a connection.
Like even in the afterlife, some things never change.
Exactly. And by using humor to talk about death,
Yeah.
they create a safe space.
For people to process their own experiences.
It's cathartic.
Okay, so we've seen how they use self-awareness, relatability, and vulnerability.
To handle these sensitive topics.
Yeah, without alienating anyone.
They're walking that tightrope.
But they're doing it with grace and humor.
Inviting us along for the ride.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
All right.
Let's talk about their personal lives.
That's good.
We got a glimpse through their New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah, those were interesting.
A mix of ambition, self-improvement, and pure absurdity.
Right, like hosting the best Super Bowl special ever.
Yeah.
Or dunking on LeBron James.
And creating that language, flea porp.
To talk to animals.
They're mocking utopian ideals.
Yeah.
But it also makes you wonder.
Maybe talking to dolphins isn't so crazy.
Right.
It's that blend of humor and social commentary.
It's what makes them unique.
They challenge us.
Make us question everything.
But under all the silliness,
Yeah.
there's a desire to connect with something bigger.
It's like they want to make the world better,
Yeah.
but have fun doing it.
That balance is what makes them relatable.
They dream big,
Yeah.
but they also laugh at themselves.
When those dreams get out of control.
So we've got this duo who are self-aware, relatable, vulnerable, and not afraid to push boundaries.
It's a powerful combination.
But let's dig deeper into their comedic style.
Okay.
What makes their humor so unique and engaging?
That's what we'll explore in part 3 of this deep dive.
All right, so we've talked about a lot,
Yeah, we have.
this comedic duo
Mm-hmm.
walking that fine line
Right.
between humor and social commentary.
And those conspiracy theories.
They're self-aware, relatable.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, and not afraid to push those boundaries.
Absolutely.
But what is it about their style
Their comedic style.
yeah, that makes them so unique
It's a good question.
and so engaging?
Yeah, it's a mix of things, I think.
What?
First off, they find humor in the unexpected. Like, they can take something ordinary,
Right.
like going to the DMV
The DMV.
or a fantasy football draft,
Okay.
and turn it into something hilarious.
It's like they see the world differently,
Through a different lens.
highlighting the absurdity of it all.
They then bring us along. It's like they're saying, why so serious?
Yeah.
But they do it with a wink and a smile.
Yeah, it's never mean-spirited.
No, never condescending.
Okay, so they find humor in the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Well, they're masters of juxtaposition, too.
Okay.
They can go from a skit about squirrels
Okay.
to a discussion about robots and jobs
Wow.
seamlessly.
It's amazing.
They're comfortable with it all.
The absurd and the profound.
Yeah, and they make it work.
Like a comedic collage.
Yeah, a mix of ideas.
And you never know what's next.
Right, it keeps you hooked.
Exactly. They're unpredictable.
It's part of their charm.
They make you laugh, think.
And wonder what's coming next.
Speaking of thinking,
Ugh,
they're not afraid of social commentary,
right. They tackle the tough stuff.
politics, social issues,
Even conspiracy theories.
but they make it entertaining,
Yeah, insightful too.
a conversation.
Not a lecture.
And they use satire.
To point out hypocrisy.
Yeah, challenge the way things are.
Like the empty tin can.
For president,
It was brilliant.
hilarious and smart.
They make you laugh and think at the same time.
Okay, so finding humor in the unexpected juxtaposition.
Mm.
Social commentary, what else?
Well, they create these memorable characters
Oh, yeah.
and catchphrases.
Like Lovey's jeans,
Selfie Smith.
the squirrels in Patagonia vests.
It's genius.
Those things stick with you.
They become part of the culture.
It's a sign of great comedy.
They create this world
Familiar but absurd.
with relatable characters.
It's amazing.
And they don't stick to just one format.
No, they do it all.
Stand-up sketches, musical parodies,
That noir monologue.
the psychedelic cooking show.
They're always pushing the boundaries.
Not afraid to fail.
Yeah, that fearlessness is inspiring.
It makes you root for them.
Even when they're pushing the limits.
Yeah, you want them to succeed.
So their style is this unique blend.
Finding humor in the unexpected.
Juxtaposition social commentary.
Memorable character.
And experimenting with everything.
It's a recipe for success.
And they're clearly having fun.
Oh yeah, they're passionate
And that comes through.
in everything they do.
So we've learned a lot about the Not So Late Show.
Their style, their thoughts.
Their aspirations.
It's been fascinating.
Yeah, they're really pushing boundaries.
Blending humor and commentary.
And it makes you wonder,
How do they navigate those controversial topics?
and without alienating their audience.
It's a tightrope walk.
But they make it look easy.
They really do.
There's three things in life I love: football entertainment, the Not So Late Night Show, and God, in that order.
The Not So Late Show is greater than most.
The Bears.
I want to say a beautiful toast The Not So Late Show is greater than most.
The Bears.
It's the best show, and I must boast. The Not So Late Show is greater than most. We've got these two wonderful hosts. Not So Late Show is greater than most. And I just want to yell and boast.
They both did Pearl Harbor.
Yo, I'm just calling in to the Not So Late Show. Not so late. Not so late. But it's a little too late for many of us. So here I am. Hope you guys have a good fantasy. And, yeah, stay safe. Go with God. Go with God. Go with God. Would you like some sausage? Mikey, would you like some sausages?
Commissioner Paul Peru.